Hello, this is Julian with Coffee Reviews, and today we'll be reviewing the Zorro Natural Processed Panama Geisha from Manhattan Coffee Roasters. And there's the bag right there. And Manhattan, based out of Rotterdam, Netherlands, and this is the fourth coffee we're featuring from Manhattan's world-class offerings this year, which previously included both the Letty and Luna Bermudas coffees, as well as the Streeby, another natural processed Panamanian Geisha. And for those that don't know, Panamanian Geishas tend to be our favorite coffee in the world. And right now, the Letty Bermudas is still our favorite coffee of 2021, and Manhattan is one of our favorite, if not our favorite coffee roaster in the entire world, and it's the favorite of so many people that both watch our channel, as well as people outside of this channel. So it's safe to say the expectations for this coffee were sky high, through the roof, and we are very curious to see if it lived up to the expectation. This right here is day 30 of this coffee. And recipe we have for Manhattan is a 16:1 water to coffee ratio, brewed at 208 degrees Fahrenheit through the Chemex. They are a light European for the roast profile, and let's start discussing this coffee. So day 9, first impression, and it was wildly tropical. There was an extremely well-balanced tropical fruit flavor in this cup, and of course the coffee we are most immediately going to compare this to is the Streeby, the other natural processed Panamanian Geisha from Manhattan, and that coffee was a very intense cup of coffee. And we said that it didn't reach the point of it being too much, but this coffee right here, being a slight bit of a toned down version of that, was much better. It was much more in line with the type of sweetness and the level of sweetness that we enjoy the most, so it was a really positive first impression from that first try. Things we could most closely align this were an abundance of these red drinks, so red Kool-Aid, red Powerade, red Gatorade. It definitely had that punchy sort of tropical taste to it. Pretty positive first impression. Day 10, went back, and again, will emphasize this a lot throughout this video, that the level of sweetness in this cup was really, really nice, because again, it wasn't overbearing, and it was finely balanced for the fruit flavors that were coming from it. Very sweet cup of coffee, a little zesty on this day as well. Not too much we would closely identify with it on this day. Day 12, and at this time we would say that it had a more of a citrusy sort of tropical fruit taste to it, and drinking it on this day can definitely see it aligning with some sort of like pineapple. And on day 12, that's probably the flavor we were getting the most closely with this cup. Feels like really strong fruit juice as well. Still nicely balanced. Coffee has just a great level of sweetness that we keep emphasizing. Day 15, and this is when the coffee really started to hit its stride, and we were getting a pronounced Fruity Pebbles flavor. So let us elaborate on that real quick, because we've said in previous videos that our favorite flavor note in all of coffee is this Fruity Pebbles note that is pretty common in Panamanian Geishas, usually washed Panamanian Geishas, but it's in a more subtle and delicate sense. This one was a pretty pronounced Fruity Pebbles note, which is still every bit as enjoyable. Strong orange juice taste to it as well, and again, the amazing balance of fruits. So this day was a standout day to this point, but day 17 was just as good. It was another great day, and the Fruity Pebbles were present once again, and maybe even more pronounced in that sense. Overall flavor is high, yet wonderful level of sweetness. Another excellent cup on that day. And then day 20, third day in a row of getting this amazing Fruity Pebbles flavor from this cup. Sweetness mostly coming in terms of a ripe citrus, notable mandarin oranges as well as a deep, icy fruit punch flavor. So much depth in this cup of coffee, so many flavors, just great variety in it. Day 23, coffee lost a slight bit of these Fruity Pebble notes that we were experiencing, and it was a little bit more of a fruit juice. We were also getting lots of berries and sugary orange juice. So again, abundance of fruit flavors, even if we were losing our favorite fruit flavor to that point. And then day 26, coffee excellent, not quite as impressive as it had been on the peak days, but there was still a slight bit of that cereal grain left over, so we could still kind of feel the slight reminiscence of the Fruity Pebbles from the cup. And the coffee has definitely gone the way of a sweeter fruit juice, and as we're drinking it on day 30, you can see all those things, especially the sweeter fruit juice, but it still has a slight bit of that kind of grain taste to it. All right, let's go ahead and put up the tasting wheel so you can see what we're getting. And truth be told, I haven't looked at this tasting wheel in like a week or so, just preparing for this video, but yeah, it's a really interesting looking tasting wheel, because we have two things at a level 5, which is the sweetness and the citrus fruit. When picking between the three fruits, the citrus fruit seemed like the most pronounced and dominant of those flavors, but as you can see, the stone fruit and the berry fruit remain very high at a level 4. Other things very high include the finish, which has a very lasting finish, but not one of those overly lingering lasting finishes like the Luna Bermudas definitely did. And the cleanliness at a level 4, which is just kind of mind-blowing for it being a natural processed coffee. Anytime a natural processed coffee has a cleanliness at a level 4, that's really impressive. But what really sets this coffee apart, what's really impressive about this coffee, is that the acidity remains kind of low at a level 2. And we've said this before, we're not the biggest fans of acidity, and that's probably what the biggest drawback for Estrebi was for us, as the acidity was pretty high in that cup of coffee. But the fact that you can get a super clean, yet super sweet and low acidic coffee with such an abundance of wild tropical fruit flavors, it feels like this tasting wheel shouldn't actually be possible. It shouldn't be possible to come up with something that looks like this, but this coffee is really impressive, the fact that this happened. All right, our overall thoughts and impressions of this coffee. I mean, based off the way we've been talking about it, it's not really surprising. This was one of our favorite coffees of the year, one of our favorite coffees ever. This coffee was really impressive. This coffee right now is second to the Lady Bermudas as our favorite coffee of the year, and truth be told, it was really pushing the Lady Bermudas. On its peak days, it was just as good as the Lady Bermudas in our impression, as it's very much our flavor profile. This is definitely the type of coffee we enjoy the most, and hitting so many of these really impressive flavor notes. Yeah, I'm kind of left speechless at times with how much I enjoyed this coffee. Type of person I would suggest this coffee to, if you're somebody that's looking on the higher end of coffees in terms of the coffee spectrum, this one right here is a great fit for you, especially if you like the wild fruit flavors, because this is one of those coffees where, yes, it is a Panamanian Geisha, and you have your option for picking so many coffee roasters Panamanian Geishas, or so many coffee roasters higher end offerings. Honestly, felt like this one was one of the best standouts we've had from any higher end coffee offering in a very long time. So yeah, I think that if you're looking for one, not only is it great price, we've always felt that $40 or 40 euros for Manhattan's offerings, their world-class offerings, is a pretty good deal. That's 250 grams. This one right here was definitely worth all of it, and it's something that we would highly suggest to so many people, as it just really left a huge positive impression on us. But I think we're gonna leave it at that. I've been gushing about this coffee a little too much, and yeah, I'd love to know your thoughts and impressions of it as well if you've by chance had an opportunity to try this coffee. If you're enjoying the content, give this video a like and subscribe if you're not already subscribed. And this right here has been a review of the Zorro Natural Processed Panama Geisha from Manhattan Coffee Roasters. Thank you for watching.